Hello and welcome to KaleidoCAST. Weight loss drugs are currently on everybody's lips. And why is that? Well, because of new developments within this field that are getting the hopes up for those looking for a quick fix. And with celebrities such as Elon Musk swearing his physique to this new weight loss drug, it is no wonder that it has received so much attention. And perhaps all this attention is not so strange after all, given the large obesity issue that we are facing today. Now, you might be wondering, what are we at Kaleido, a private bank, doing discussing the research that is currently the newest one in obesity? Well, that is because of our new and innovative investment solution, our longevity mandate, which we will be discussing today. And joining me today, I have a familiar face. It is our head of longevity investments, the remarkable Gregory Hung. And Greg, he is not only an expert within longevity investments, he is also an accomplished athlete who has competed in the World Championships in CrossFit twice and earned a spot amongst the 20 best performing athletes in the world. So in other words, you could say that he really walks his talk. So Greg, I'm so excited to have you back here today. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for the nice intro. It's a pleasure to be back.
Well, last time you were here, we were discussing longevity investments in general. However, everyone watching this video might not have seen that video. So I think it would be extremely helpful for everybody if you could just do like a short recap of what longevity is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So longevity is about a paradigm shift of our current healthcare system that we call Healthcare 1.0 and treats existing illnesses after the fact. A paradigm shift from 1.0 to a healthcare system that we call Healthcare 2.0 that is focused on preventative measures and is addressing the root causes of aging. So in the Healthcare 1.0 world, as I mentioned, we treat existing illnesses after the fact with general treatments mostly. In the Healthcare 2.0 world, we have a holistic preventative approach, and we really address all dimensions of health, from physical to cognitive to emotional. And Healthcare 2.0 is also about making healthcare more value-based, more proactive and personalized to allow us to do the things that we value most for as long as possible. So the primary objective of longevity and Healthcare 2.0 is to extend the healthy lifespan with preventative measures rather than reacting to sicknesses and illnesses after the fact.
Okay, I think that was a great summary. And for those who haven't checked out the video, of course, recommend doing so. But today we will be discussing a sub-facet of longevity, and that is obesity, or the obesity crisis, which I see in the newspapers all the time. Obesity this, obesity that. So how big of a problem is obesity today?
Obesity is a massive problem. So while the recent media buzz has really been focused on a couple of vain celebrities that take these drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy and Mounjaro that you might have read about in the news, it's important to highlight that these drugs have been developed for people with obesity and type 2 diabetes, which some of these celebrities don't grapple with, but it's very popular. And so we are really facing a global obesity crisis that is worsening. And just to drop a couple of statistics around this, for example, in the US, 42% of the population are considered obese.
Oh.
And that number is up from 15% in the 1960s. So that's massive. And that puts a tremendous burden on public health systems, and it has ripple effects on individuals and communities at large. McKinsey estimates the direct costs of obesity at $370 billion US, and the indirect costs at $1 trillion. That's an impact of 2.8% on global GDP. Think about that. Wow. And also just think about the implications this has on productivity, on workers' compensation insurance, on sick days, and on and on. So the global obesity pandemic is serious. It's getting worse. And pharmaceutical companies know this because it's big business.
Yeah, yeah. And they make then particular types of drugs to deal with this issue. What are these weight loss drugs?
Yeah, so it's important to differentiate between two types of drugs. So on the one hand, we have these weight loss drugs that you've been reading about in the papers. Wegovy is a weight loss drug produced by Novo Nordisk. Mounjaro, Ozempic are produced by Eli Lilly. These drugs act as appetite suppressants. And, you know, sounds great, but there are also significant side effects. The most significant side effect is that there is also a loss of lean muscle mass and bone density. So about 30 to 40% of your weight loss when you take these drugs comes in the form of losing muscle and bone density. That's not really what you want. But I will also say these drugs are not all bad. Like they're not necessarily bad because there are so many obesity-related diseases on top, right? So if you can avoid or fight obesity in the first place, there are knock-on effects and knock-on benefits of that. And I brought some statistics that I can't remember in my head.
Cheat notes are
exactly,
helpful.
exactly. But that really show how lowering obesity rates can improve general health. So people with obesity have 2.5 times increased risk of type 2 diabetes, 69% higher risk of heart disease, 113% increased risk of high blood pressure, and 74% increased risk, higher risk of cholesterol. So, reducing obesity definitely has tremendous benefits, right? Even if you're losing muscle mass, so it's a good thing. So I've described one type of drug. The other type of drug are called AMPK activator drugs.
Okay.
AMPK is a protein that plays a pivotal role in our body for metabolism and energy usage. And these AMPK activator drugs, what they do is they induce the body into a energy burning mode, kind of like when you're exercising. And also without the side effects of lean muscle mass and bone density loss. But it's still early stage. These drugs are not on the market yet. But one of our portfolio companies has actually just recently published very exciting results that go into these directions that can demonstrate these benefits. And in animal testing, we have also shown, or it has been shown, that these AMPK activator drugs also have a positive benefit on extending lifespan and avoiding or reducing age-related chronic diseases. So that's very exciting. So for the people that are in the market waiting for the exercise pill, the waiting may come to an end at some point, but we're not there yet. It's still earlier stages. In the meantime, we have these first category of drugs that I described.
Okay, yeah. Brilliant, really. It's so interesting to learn about this and can understand that this issue with obesity is really enormous,
Yes.
so to say. And what I keep thinking about when I hear this, because obviously there are now some drugs out there that can help people with obesity lose some weight, however with some significant side effects, is can we really drug away this obesity issue? Or even better maybe, should we drug away this issue?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And for me, as a health advocate, this becomes a bit of a two-sided sword. On the one hand, there are really tangible benefits of these drugs that help people lose weight, and it is also an effective tool in fighting global obesity, right? On the other hand, there is a growing concern that society may be looking for these quick fixes and just drug the problem away. And as we've seen, or as we've discussed, there are side effects to this. In addition, the problem is a little bit with these drugs that once you stop taking them, you regain all of your weight and you're back to square one. So essentially, if that's all you're doing, the quick fix, it's not sustainable. You would have to stay on these drugs for your entire life. I'm not quite sure what the side effects are of doing something like that, but it is much more beneficial, let's say, to follow a more holistic preventative approach, right? With a longevity mindset where you integrate regular exercise, a healthy and balanced diet, and sufficient sleep into your routines. And you use technology to help you with that. That will help you to avoid diseases and illnesses before they arise. But those things are hard and they require commitment, which is why many people don't like to follow it, right? But definitely following a holistic preventative mindset will be the more sustainable solution.
Okay. Everybody loves a good quick fix, right?
Yes.
So appealing. And doesn't sort of these weight loss drugs, does it not align with the goal of the longevity mindset?
Well, I mean, yes and no, right? So, as I mentioned, a quick fix does not have the similar long-term benefits as a preventative mindset, where in a preventative mindset, you really have to understand that you are the captain of your ship, and it's your responsibility to make consistent, healthy lifestyle choices. That will be the best way, right? But in the meantime, these drugs can help alleviate a problem. But I would say that these weight loss drugs on the market now, they belong more to the healthcare 1.0 world, because they treat a disease after the problem has arisen. But, these AMPK activator drugs, they would be more sort of in the, healthcare 2.0 realm. In the meantime, I would say these drugs are kind of a gateway drug from the 1.0 world into the 2.0 world, because they do help in alleviating these 200 plus obesity related diseases. I mean, just think about the reduction in cost to our health system that we would have if we could really get these rates down with all these negative knock-on effects.
And if we then were to take this discussion that we're having now and translate it into our longevity mandate, well then how does the technology behind these sort of weight loss drugs, how does it fit into our longevity mandate, or does it?
Yes, so as mentioned, it's kind of a gateway drug into the 2.0 world. It's one pathway, it's the currently, it's one available avenue to solve this problem. So I would say it ties in somewhat, but as you can imagine, and as you probably feel by now, I'm much more in favor of investments that align with a holistic preventative approach. So what we've done is we've created a longevity mandate that categorizes sort of the world into three different areas: medical, behavioral, and societal. And so we cover sectors from preventative biopharma to personalized medicine, and from wellness to nutrition and supplements and physical activity and everything that comes with that. And so our aim is to provide our clients with an attractive investment solution that not only fosters human well-being, but also provides very attractive financial returns.
And to understand what a mandate is, then basically means that affluent individuals or our clients, that they give us at Kaleido the permission to invest on their behalfs, right?
Yes.
And then they decide on certain areas within longevity that they find interesting or appealing, and then we go ahead and we make investments into relevant companies based on that information.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So by and large, let me quickly explain the broader setup of our mandate and sort of the degrees of freedom that clients have when they design the mandate with us. So on the one hand, we have a advisory board that helps us and guides us in terms of the most interesting areas of research and what's actually happening and what's not. On the other hand, we work with renowned venture partners that provide an interesting deal flow on the private equity side. And so that all flows into the longevity mandate. And on the private side, clients can choose, in cooperation with us, the types of investments that they would like to make on the private equity side. On the public side, we have a liquid building block that consists of listed stocks that is actively managed. That building block is fixed, that we use that as to manage the liquid side. So at the end of the day, the easiest way for the client would be to simply choose the allocation between private and public investments, so the mix, and we can take care of the rest. However, if the client wants to get involved further, we're happy to discuss the opportunities on the private side that they can pick from. So it's the most flexible way for clients to get advantage, or to get access to this exciting field of longevity, which, by the way, over the next couple of years is projected to be a multi-trillion-dollar market. I think it will go gangbusters.
Wow. Yeah, I understand why people want to get into this field of investments. And I learned from you last time in our last conversation that longevity is also one of the fastest growing markets, right?
Yeah.
And of course, there is the benefit that it can have personal influence. Like if this field really takes off and new developments come into it, it can affect everybody's health for the better. So I think for me, this is such an interesting topic. And I assume it is for the people watching as well. And if somebody's watching this and thinking that they would love to learn more about the longevity mandate, then how can they reach you specifically?
Yeah, so the easiest way to get in touch with me is to visit our webpage, and you can directly book an online meeting with me, or you can come to our office to meet us there, and we'll be happy to discuss the opportunities in this exciting space.
And in the description below this video, I have attached that link, so you can just click that one, and then you can get in touch with Greg directly. And with that, I would just like to say, wow, thank you so much, Greg. It's been a pleasure once again. It's so interesting and educational to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Always great to be here.
Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time on KaleidoCAST. And in the meantime, stay healthy.